historical news. This is Sunday historical news. The show is called We Are All Human Beings. Why don't we act like it? Why don't we? Why don't people act like it? Look in Syria. They're all the same. They're all the same. If you look at any nation, we're all human beings. Yet we fail to act like it. We segregate ourselves, divide ourselves, separate ourselves from who we are, why we are. And that costs deadly inhuman lives. From beheadings to killings to torture, starvation, to hunger, to mold. When do we stop? When do we stop separating ourselves as human beings? That's what I'd like to know. When do we stop separating ourselves as human beings? When do we start believing in human life first and everything else second? Because that's the only way it can live. You can live. It's the only way the human race can live. It's the only way the human race can live and not die by hundreds of thousands and millions every year. Millions of children die every year needlessly. Needlessly. What happens to all the money that gets donated every year? What happens to all the money that gets donated every year? What happens to all the money that gets funded? These people every year, everybody's doing everything. But still, millions of people out there in this country. We're all human beings. And that's the truth of human life, is we're all human beings. That's the fact of human life. The blood, flesh and bone, we all eat, we all sleep, we all live, we all need to live as human beings. That's the start of human life. If you look at nations like Syria, Iraq, Afghanistan, Congo, and other nations, it's war. It's completely war. You got people killing each other that are the same Syrian people, the same Iraqi people, the same Afghan people, the same African people, the same Lebanese people, the same Pakistan and Indian people. They're all human beings. We're all human beings. And when are we in this earth going to realize this? That above all else, we're birthright human beings. Above all else, we are a human being. People don't act like it. You got hatred, bigotry, and racism, killing and slaughter, and war, and hate. Now, you can't live like that. You cannot live like that. Rude cannot continue on at this pace that's going. Otherwise, you're going to allow people of human life. It's going to cost. It's going to cost it all. All the human race. All the human race. We're different colors, different looks. Why do we make so much of how people look? Why do we make so much of how people look? Women and children are the most abused on this planet. We're supposed to be human race, human beings. Yet women and children are most abused on this planet because they're weaker than male. And that's the sadness of human life. That really is egregious. That the women and children are the most abused on this earth. That really is the sadness of human life. We're all human beings. Why can't we act like it? Why can't we behave like it? Because we all have rights, we all have freedoms, we all have humanity. But we all live as human life. We all live human life. But there are nations in the world that don't live human life. They live in human life. And they're fighting each other. They're fighting each other. You got Al Qaeda and the Taliban and ISIS terrorists are just feeding the war against the Shiites, the Muslims, the Shiites, the Kurds, the Sunnis. All killing each other, all the same people, all the same flesh and blood, all the same life. Same thing here in America. More than 10,000 murders a year. Killing the human beings. Killing the human beings. That's all we're doing. We're killing massive amounts of human beings. People are worried about overpopulating the earth. Now, with the slaughters that are going on around the world, 42 wars cover our planet, the blood of our life, the blood of human life, the blood of human life. Yet we all long, we all love, we all hunger, we all want, we all need, we all have, we all need education, we all need schooling, we all need jobs, we all need humanity. But then yet it never comes. It never comes. Never comes. Until the day comes when we can stop the segregation, the degradation of the human life, no matter who it is or where it is. Till that day comes, It'll never end. It'll never end. It'll be a Ferris wheel of death. It'll be just a Ferris wheel of death. It'll go over and over and over and over from one generation to the other. When do we get tired of burying our relatives, burying our children, burying our women? When do we get tired of this? When do we get tired of this? When do we learn that respect and humility and honor, justice and human rights and human freedoms are for all people? When do we stop seeing people as different? When do we stop looking at people as different? When do we stop calling people all these vile, vulgar, filthy names and realize that children are so vulnerable at this age? That children are so vulnerable, no matter where they're in, no matter where they're at, whether they're here, or they're in Syria, or they're in Egypt, or they're all children. They don't get a chance to be children. They don't get a chance to be children. And that raises another generation of people who just want to kill and hate and carve each other up. It doesn't stop. It just doesn't stop. It doesn't stop. The wheel goes round and round and round, year after year after year after year. The Vietnam War, the German World War II, World War One, Kosovo. The list of wars just goes on. We use war as a way of life. It has to stop. We use war as a way of life. People in these nations use war as a way of life. That has to stop. We live in America where crime is rampant. We live in America where 1,700 children, 17 million children are there. We live in a world that segregates, divides, demeans the human race. We can't do that. We can't do that. You see Kate Upson gets on TV or somebody else that says that the world is inherently evil. It's only evil because it's made that way. It's made that way by the human race, the human beings, the human soul. It's made that way. People are made from one generation to the next. Something went wrong in Shahrazad's family to make it that way. Something went wrong in Tamarov's family to make him that way. People believe humanity is a must. Believing in humanity is a must. Humanity is the first birthright of every human being on this earth. Every human being on this earth. Whether you're born poor, rich, or middle class, we all bleed the same. We all die the same. There's never been enough death on this planet now. There's never been enough death on this planet now. Hundreds of millions of people over 2,000 years have died generation after generation, war after war, conflict after conflict. Where does it end? Where does it end? Where does it end? People just want to sit around and wait for God to come, for Jesus to come, or any of this other stuff. Because we have to rely on each other. We have to rely on each other to change the world. Because if God and Jesus come, it's not going to be until the world becomes a world of human life and human beings for all. It's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Whether you believe or you don't believe is your right. Whether you're gay, straight, black, Chinese, Muslim, or whatever it is, we're all human beings. We're all human beings. There's no difference. There's no difference. May look different. May think different. May see different. When it comes right down to it, we're all flesh and blood bone. We all suffer the same sicknesses. We all suffer the same illness. We all suffer the same bigotries of life. But it's putting those bigotries aside that changes the course of human life. It's putting those hatreds aside that changes the course of human life. It's putting the need to kill aside that changes human life. You know, the human race has become so segregated, so divided. Driver's license, IDs, passports, we live in a world that borders ourselves. No fly zones, no swimming zones, no boating zones. This is a problem with the world. We can't learn from each other. We can't share with each other. We can't help each other. We can't be with each other as long as these borders are crossed. Crisscrossed and crisscrossed and crisscrossed. Everybody's a separate nation unto themselves. We're always going to be separate nations unto ourselves. We have to be nations unto all people. You have to be nations unto all people. And that's the only way it's going to stop. You got the war in Syria, it's not going to quit. It's not going to quit until the day comes that all people realize that we all have responsibility on this earth. And the only ones that are suffering are the women and children. Men dying more, not women and children. This is mostly women and children. Beheadings, taking people's lives, rape, carnage, battery, beating, and bashing. Adrian Peterson beating this kid with a stick. It's not right. It's not right. It's not right. Humanity has to be for all humanity until a day comes that we realize this. A day comes that we understand this. It's never going to stop. It's just never going to stop. You can't classify yourself. People fight against the change of human life. But without that change of human life, the wars continue. The death continues. Starvation continues. Nobody likes change. But change has to come. Change has to come for all people, for all nations, for all humanity. Otherwise, the world can't grow. People can't grow. Education can't grow. Our powers can't grow. Just imagine all the people that died. What miraculous thoughts, miraculous inventions they could have done. Cures for Ebola, cures for cancer. Who knows? Who knows? Because they never got a chance to learn. They never got a chance to educate. They never got a chance to be a human being. And that's the sadness of human life. They never got a chance. Never got a chance. I've been on this earth for 56 years. 56 years. October 24th. And I've seen the hate, the bigotry, the wars, the death, the carnage of human life just dumping upon each other. And the terror of human life that lives inside people, and the evil that certain people commit without even a blink of an eye about the value of that life they're going to be had, or suffocate, or kill, or torture. Even got a museum. Even got a museum in America shows the torture, the dissidents, 11,000 in Assad's care. So what makes them any better than ISIS? What makes them any better than ISIS? We're all human beings. We're all human life. We all bleed. We all love. We all care. We all hate. We all have anger. We all have to do this together. It can't be done alone. That's a simple fact of human life. It has to be done together. You know, I've been on this earth a long time, more than half a century. I've seen the death of so many millions of people. I've followed the death of so many millions of people. I've chronicled the death of millions and millions of people in videos, in news ads, in coverage, more beheadings, death, suffering. Really is the sadness of human life. Really is the sadness of human life. And we can't agree to disagree, because that's the way the world has to be. The world has to be like that. The world has to agree to disagree. What they're going to do in Syria, I have no idea. I mean, it's not going to be the only answer. So ISIS is entrenched in both Syria and Iraq. And they're damn determined to destroy every human life they can. They're determined to destroy every human life they can. It's the sadness of human life. You got it going on in Pakistan and India. You got it going on in Syria. You got it going on in Iraq. You got it going on in Afghanistan. It's like a war of worlds. Every little chunk of country is a world. But it isn't. We all live on Earth. We all have to live on this planet. We all have to survive on this planet. We all have to be on this planet. But it's not going to happen the way we're going now. The way the world is going now is into an age of war like this never been before. And it's the sadness of life. It really is. Because people are killing each other for nothing but greed, power, and money. Because some religion says Some cleric says you should go out and kill and put a bomb back on somebody's back. And that's the sadness of human life. That's the sadness of human life. It's usually a kid. It's usually a kid. I never thought I'd see the day that I'd be talking to people. As a 55-year-old man. But it's the sadness of human life. It's the grief of human life. And I've covered one hell of a lot of grief. One hell of a lot of truth. One hell of a lot of life. It's sad, really is sad that you see the evil, only the evil that goes on in this world. We don't show the good. We don't show the heroes, like the fireman on 9/11 and the cop that saved a person's life. We only see the cop that shot Mike Brown. You don't see all the other. You don't see all the other cops that really do their job. You don't see all the Syrian people that are just Syrian people. You don't see all the Iraqi people that are just Iraqi people. It's human beings. Same thing with Lebanon, Israel, and all these Palestine. We don't see all the good sides of people. We don't show all the good sides of people. Only the ugly sides. But people have to understand. People have to understand that it takes all of us to change the course of this world. It takes all of us. It doesn't matter if you're 10, you're 20, you're 30, you're 80. We all have to be responsible on this earth. Then he can bomb Syria. And all ISIS is going to do is just take off their hoods and hide amongst the living. And so many people have suffered over there. So many people have suffered over there. As people suffer in this nation of hunger. The list of inhumanities can go on and goes on in every nation. The list of inhumanities go on in every nation. Because the human being is not put first. The human being is not put first. Governments, war, business, and the human race. You cannot survive like that. The world cannot survive like that. The world cannot survive with one man making every decision. It just doesn't work. Won't work that way. It won't work that way. You have to work as a team. You have to work as a unit. Even our government has to work as one unit. They have to stop worrying about who's a Democrat, who's a Republican, or who's a tea banker. Start worrying about the debt and the people in this country that suffer needlessly, hopelessly, streetwise. This is the truth of human life. This is the truth of human life. This we all have to live as the human race, by the human race, for the human race. And that's the only way it's going to stop. It's the only way it's going to stop. People got to stop thinking of themselves as, I'm a Syrian, I'm an American. I do the news, I do it as an outsider. I don't judge people. I do the news and I say it as it is. And I'll say this right now, that it takes all of us, and it's going to take all of us to make this a world where all people can live in. Excuse me. But it's the truth of human life. It's going to take all of us. It's going to take all of us. It's going to take all of us. All of us. We, the good people of life, have to become the dominant force. We have to become the dominant force. We have to assure that there are good people in this life. And there are. 80, 90% of the world is good. It's only got 10 or 15% that want to live on evil, or want to make evil, or want to hurt people. That the world can see. The world can see. Doesn't see the guy that stops a car before hitting somebody. Doesn't see the guy fighting fires. Doesn't see the guy nursing kids back out with a bullet. Doesn't see that kind of. We don't advertise enough good news. We don't advertise enough good news. We don't advertise that there are Syrian human beings somewhere who just want to live life. Iraqi human beings, or even American human beings. We're so busy dividing each other. Gay, straight, black, white, purple, green, blue, orange. That kind of life cannot work. That kind of life cannot work. It segregates. It segregates those that are good to live with those that are bad at the same time. And it won't work that way. It won't work. It won't work that way. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. But we the good people of life. We the good people of life. And there are plenty of them out there, rich, poor, whatever, Syrian, Turkish, whatever. They just want to live life. And that's the true thing of life. That's a fact of life. So we all just want to live life and do our thing. Too many times that's taken away from us. Too many times that's taken away from us. Too many times that's taken away from us. And that's the sad message of life. It really is. If you sit back and think about it, government cannot work if it's two-sided. Government cannot work if it's two-sided. Government cannot work with one person while everybody have to say what goes on. Look at our nation. This government cannot work with Republicans and Democrats fighting each other and over every bill, over every item, over every fine detail. Can't work. Just don't work. This is why we're failing as a nation. We're failing as a world. And they can bomb Syria into oblivion. And I was for it. I was for it. But it's not going to stop. It's not going to stop ISIS. Because they're just going to hide amongst the good people. They're going to hide amongst the good people. As Hamas hid in the schools, the children, and hospitals. So will ISIS. The closer we get to striking them, instead of their oil wells and their power and their money, the closer we get to striking them, the more they will hide amongst the living. And they're leaving a path of death. We opened a museum. We opened a museum. Somebody brought 55 pictures of Syria and the death of human life. The death of human life. They were banning people last night, leaving them laying in the streets. Now walk over bodies. Walk around bodies. Can't live like this. The world cannot exist like this. The world will not continue like this. Because something will come to a head. What's it going to take? Some leader to drop a nuke or a nuclear war? Is it going to take that kind of war to make the human race realize that we all have the same responsibility and freedoms to live life, responsibility towards that life, and our children, our children's children, our children's children, to make the best world that we can, to make the best world that we can for those that are coming, those that are going to be born. We're not doing it. We're making it the worst world that we can. We're making it the worst world that we can. And you see commercials that say no more abuse of women, no more abuse of children. It's a long time coming. I've been saying it for years. Gotta stop the abuse of women and children to begin with. It's no worse than Boko Haram kidnapping 270 children, 200 children, and not giving them back. People don't want people to have equalities. Strength doesn't make you big man. Strength doesn't make you. Power doesn't make you. Because you take a gun and pull a trigger, it doesn't make you a bigger man. It doesn't make you a bigger human being. It makes you less bigger. You just put yourself in a class of evil. A class of evil. Class of doing wrong. Class of doing wrong. And that's the wrong answer in life. They move to sell guns in this country by the ton. Everybody has a right to bear arms. But if people were human beings, nobody would need the right to bear arms. People were human beings. And there are a lot of good people out there, man. There are more people that are unarmed than there are people that are armed. The world is just suffering. It's suffering. It's suffering loss of human life every day. Every day. We're talking thousands now, tens of thousands. The Ebola virus, 30,000 a day die of children. Children die a day of hunger. It's the sadness of human life. And we can't agree, disagree. Everybody wants the nuclear bomb. Everybody wants to fight for a nuclear bomb. For what? For what? Till some government leader decides to nuke another nation and 1 million people die. Then will the world realize what we have in our hands is valuable human life? All of us. All of us. What we have in our hands are valuable lives. It's time to stop dropping bombs on them. Stop executing them. Stop beheading them. Stop raping them. Stop molesting them. Stop segregating them. Stop calling them dirty names. The list goes on and on and on and on. But that 80% of good people is what's needed in this world. That 80 to 85% of the good race is what's needed in this world. As a unit. As a unit. Across borders. Here on the internet, we can cross borders like we never did before. We can cross nations. We can cross boundaries. We can cross the world with hope of human life, with a care of human life, with a new view of human life, with a view of human life. The people who help children, Mara, who donates their life to help children have rights. There are a lot of people that do. A lot of people that do. Don't get mentioned. There are a lot of great organizations in the world that do the same thing. But you just can't keep adding to their burden. You can't keep adding to their burden. New children, new people, new women. The world is in upheaval. War. 42 wars. Can you imagine? 42 wars cover our world. 42 wars cover the human race. 42 wars. We could blanket of death. We could blanket of death or darkness of human light. All you see is the red flares of bombs going off. People killing each other. People chopping each other's heads off. Women being raped. Children being abused. And then they want to ignore it. Can't ignore it. Because it's not going away. It's not going to stop. It's not going to quit. It's not going to end. Until we all work to end it. That's the truth of human life. That's the honesty of human life. Until we have respect and value for all human life. It's never going to end. Until the world reaches that level of respect and value for all human life. Whether it's in Syria, whether it's in Chicago, whether it's in Hoboken, New Jersey, or wherever. Until everybody sees human life as human life. Doesn't see somebody as a black person, or a white person, or a Catholic, or a Christian, or a Muslim. It's never going to stop. We have to agree to disagree on certain things. There are cultures we can all learn from. There are richnesses of life that await the human race. There are richnesses of life that await the human race. The pieces of quality of life that everybody has to work for. Pieces of quality of life that everybody has to work for. Why the powers of this world don't think like this, I don't know. Why the powers of the world don't think like this, I don't know. Can you imagine the workforce you can have? There was no war, there was no death, there was no killing, there was no starvation. The workforce you can have. They're worried about overpopulating. But 200,000 Syrians have died this year, plus 7,000 have been tortured and butchered. That's one nation. That's one nation. Thousands, tens of thousands are dying in Africa of Ebola. Thousands of children die a day of hunger. Thousands of children are aborted a day. Where's the overpopulation? Where's the overpopulation? We live in a world where half the food in the world gets wasted. But the children in the world do not get their fill. Do not get their food. Do not get their care. How do you stop it? By humanness. By humanness. That's how you stop it. By bringing the human race together. Listen, Wolf Blitzer said, until the human race realizes that we're all in the same life, we all have to live together. Even though we don't agree, we all have to live together. Or are people going to wait for somebody like Kim Jong-un or some other guy drops a nuke or sets off a nuke somewhere? People are being terrorized all over the world. People are being terrorized all over the world. You can't live like that. You can't survive like that. You can't go on like that. I've done 2,384 videos, and they're all death. They're all death, except for a few. It's the death of human life. It's a slaughter of human life. It's a chaos of human life. It's a killing of human life. Fed by hate, fed by greed, fed by starvation, fed by rape, fed by mutilation, fed by torture. Can't go on. Just can't go on. The world is bleeding human life. The world is bleeding human life. Of that right to be human life. And until you stop that, it just keeps on going. It keeps on going. It keeps on going. It keeps on going. It's like a wheel. It's like a car. Once you start it, it doesn't stop. So unless you don't start, it'll never stop. And that's the sadness of human life. It really is. It's the sadness of human life. I hope to see in my lifetime change the world. Change the way the world's handled. People working together for the betterment of the human race, for the betterment of humanity. But I doubt it. I doubt it. Seriously, to work in this world, we all have to work together. We have the greatest tool here that the world has ever known to bring people together, to bring about the facing of all these inequalities, these evils, these terrorists. They use the internet. Why can't we? They use the internet for the evil in life, to cut off somebody's head, show pictures of torture, say that they're going to conquer the world. Everybody wants to conquer the world. There's no world to conquer because there are 42 wars that go on all over the world. What are you going to conquer? Everybody wants to change the world. We got to change the world for the better. The human people, the good people, have to be heard. Have to be heard. Have to be that stability of life that creates a stabilization of life across this world. That's the only way it'll work. That's the only way to work. It's the only way to work. It's the only way you can make it work. You can get it to work. And that's the truth of life. That's the fact. That's the reality of life. Is we all have to work together. Like I said, they use this internet against us to promote their access of evil, to promote all their evil, to sell all that stuff. You can learn how to kill on here. You can learn how to poison people on here. There's porn. There's all kinds of evil on this internet. But there's not a human site. It's not a human site. One. That backs all human beings. Excuse me. That's the way life is. That's the way life is. Until we use the internet, what it can be used for, what it should be used for, it's never going to change. It's just never going to change. Think about it. Think about it. A world full of people on the internet, billion, 2 billion. The world would hear. The world would stop and hear. All over the world. And that's the choice in life. No fraud, no fake, just real human beings. Just real mothers and fathers, daughters and sons, grandmothers and grandfathers. People who are tired. People who are tired of the massacres that go on in this world, the genocide that goes on in this world. We're not on close to 1 million people died. So much death, not enough life. And that's all I'm going to say. This is the 7 million human beings starting the show. We're all human beings. And most people act like it. We need all people.